Hey y'all, it's the Shatrika J. I wanted to come on real quick while I had a moment while my students was going out to lunch. So I just wanted to tell part one. I did an introduction last week, so I want to do part one today of my story with the snakes in my belly. So for months, y'all, I had been trying to figure out what was going on, like why I always felt this moving around in my belly. Now, it was already bad enough that, occasionally I feel this pain in my feet, or I feel like something was crawling up my leg, or I'm having these attacks in the middle of the night where I feel like somebody's stabbing me in my side or in my back. Now, I'm gonna have to save those for another day. I ain't gonna get into that today. Today, I'm gonna tell y'all in a different video about those experiences. But somebody in my family was the one who was doing the witchery. Doing the witchcraft or whatever. Rather, at times she was the one who doing it or was going to somebody else who was doing it. So, long story short, I was feeling this moving around in my belly for months now. Then I become pregnant. So I'm thinking, all along, like I'm feeling my baby moving around early, kicking and all this stuff like this, right? And the whole time, I'm feeling the whole pregnancy. So from the moment that I found that I was pregnant, all the way through my pregnancy, I heard it for months and months, even at the beginning of me finding out I'm pregnant. And I just couldn't understand like why I was hurting all the time. It felt like, I was having Braxton Hicks, early, in my pregnancy. I'm telling y'all, within the first few months, I felt this way. So started trying to figure it out. So I ended up going into labor early. And so when I went into labor early, the baby was due in February. She ended up coming in December, so 2 months early. And so I went to labor having her. She ended up getting stuck coming feet first because my OB was gone, was off that day for that one day because he was on call that week. And I had to get the on-call doctor. They weren't listening at maternity center, so nor was he listening. And she ended up coming later on that evening. I was 7 centimeters. She was coming feet first. She got stuck, coming early. Thank God she was healthy. She didn't have to stay in the NICU long. She stayed in the NICU probably about maybe 2.5 weeks. They said she was going to be there about 2.5 months. But let me tell you, God will work things together for your good no matter what's going on. So she was healthy as an ox. I breastfed her. I went and sat with her. And so again, I would, just go and breastfeed her while when I had a chance in between businesses and, the kids, because but be honest, when I had her, I was single. So at the time, my dad and I had already broke up. And so I, had to go when I could. So I ended up going to see her, whatever. She got home or whatever. So a couple weeks after that, I'm telling, but my parents like, hey, I'm feeling this in my stomach, it's still going on, it's still moving around, I'm feeling this, things like it's crawling up my leg again, and I know before somebody, told me that, one of my family members, she put witchcraft on us, and that she put it on me and, several of our other family members. If you're family, you may know who I'm talking about. But I'm not, here to expose anybody. I'm just, telling my story. So long story short, we searched high and low, trying to find somebody who could, assist us with getting help, because I didn't know and was never taught that, hey, I need to go to someone who does deliverance and get me some help versus going to somebody who do the same thing that the person done to me to other people to go get them, to find one of them to go get help. That's what I was taught. Because again, when the Bible tells us in Genesis that, about the sin nature and how Adam and Eve's children, Cain and Abel, how they fell short of their parents' sin nature, it had been going on for generations. So that's what I had been taught. I never had been taught anything different. And so it wasn't until, recently I had been studying, me and my sister, just studying and just going through, different books and watching different things and going to different empowerment events and stuff, that we found the right tools, that I found the right tools that I needed. Because I ended up telling my sister about all I had been experienced, because they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And it was just so much we had done endured over time that nobody even knew that we was battling. So mentally it was taking a toll on me. You know, I'm like, I got to figure out, you know, I'm battling in my mind like, hey, are we supposed to be getting this right type of help or not? So long story short, we end up finding somebody. We end up going down to Atlanta, end up paying money, money on top of money. Before we got to our appointment, they had us, the guy had us to stop by, one of the health food stores that was close by his house, had us to pick up some fruit and herbs and different things like that, to bring with us, to our appointment. So when we got there, we got to this house. They lived in this luxury. So they had, like I said, they had this luxury condo close by. When we got in their house, clean as a whistle. One of their rooms was dedicated to, you know, like, I guess I would say where they do they work at. The guy did say they didn't live there, I guess, so that apartment was just only, you know, for businesses or whatever. So the guy walked down, he an Indian guy, he come get us, take us back up the elevator, we go to his house, we go in his apartment, you know, we first sit at a table, we give him the stuff that we bought with us, you know, he started cutting it up, he had money up there, he did call the grandfather, and they told us, you know, about how they dedicate animals and different stuff like that. He showed us pictures and videos and stuff on his phone, and what they do, what was needed, and he cut the fruit and stuff up, and he took us into, after we did that, we talked about, he told us, you know, who it was and what, you know, had, what all, you know, had been done, and, you know, what we needed to do and things of that nature. So he ended up taking us in. So this is where it got crazy, y'all, when it was time for the snakes to be removed. When I tell you I was scared out of my mind, I was scared of my mind. I was so, on my way back, I was so angry. I was furious. I just didn't understand. You know, it's like, how could somebody in your family, you know, people that you trust would do this to you, you know, and how could, you know, over and over and over again, you know, just in different stages of life, just battling with this, not knowing, you know, what is going on. Y'all got to tune into part 2 so I can tell y'all what happened when this guy removed this snake, and how I almost told these people door down getting up out of there. Because tune into part 2. Because y'all got to be careful, because family members, they will put witchcraft on you. People that your spouses and family members sleeping with or having affairs with, they'll put it on you too. It wasn't something that somebody told. I'm telling you about experiences that I had. So y'all got to tune in. This is just part 1. I did an introduction. This is part 1, how one of my family members put witchcraft on me.